My name is Brother Reginal 3X. I'm directing this video to my peers who may not have the opportunity to enroll in African American literature. If so, please purchase the Norton's Anthology of African American Literature, Vol.One and 2, the 3rd edition. With the cruel injustices that continue to happen to us as a people, it is our social responsibility to learn all that we can from the lessons of the past. This class allowed me to see the similarities of our past and how authors use the power of their words to create social change. The use of propaganda has always been a tool used to show black people in a negative light. When I first enrolled in African American literature, I felt a little pessimistic. I thought this class was going to be about some old Negro spirituals or how we can overcome. But once I read David Walker's appeal, where he said, "I appeal to the heaven for my motive in writing, who knows that my object is, if possible, to awaken in the breast of my afflicted, degraded, and slumbering brethren a spirit of inquiry and investigation respecting our miseries and wretchedness in this Republic land of liberty." I knew that this class was going to be something different. We began to read about strong men like Frederick Douglass, who had the audacity to say, "What to the slave is the 4th of July?" and gave a speech in front of an all-white crowd in 1852. We studied the works of Ida B. Wells Barnett, one of the first writers to document the lynchings of blacks. This was a brave sister. Her writings nearly cost her her life, but she continued to write fearlessly. Reading the works of Marcus Garvey reminded me of my personal responsibility. When Mr. Garvey said, "It comes to the individual, race, the nation, once in a lifetime to decide upon the course to be pursued as a career. The hour has now struck for the individual Negro as well as the entire race to decide the course that will be pursued in the interest of our own liberty." What would Black History Month be like today if Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois could have worked together? I have a great respect for Booker T. Washington's work, but I was touched by Du Bois's The Souls of Black Folks. He said, darkly as though a veil, and yet he saw in himself some faint revelation of his power, of his mission. He began to have a dim feeling that to attain his place in the world, he must be himself and not another. In each of our readings, we read about abolitionists, artists, scholars, and different people who were willing to die for their passion. I think it's important to identify what we truly love. And I'd rather be on the side of ethics and morality and say I stood for something. Muhammad Ali stood for something. Dr. King stood for something in his civil rights movement. Yes, Dr. King and Martin Luther and Malcolm X were both fine examples of how to speak out against injustice. One of the things that made Malcolm X able to stand up for the truth is that he was an avid reader and he had a love for his people. In the autobiography of Malcolm X, he says, "Who knows from the history books anything like the truth about the black man's role? In my own case, once I heard of the glorious history of the black man, I took special pains to hunt in the library for books that would inform me on the details about black history." This is right in line with what Larry Neal said in the Black Arts Movement. After the assassination of so many of our great leaders, black people became more organized and disciplined and uniformed in their movements. As Larry Neal said in the Black Arts Movement, unless the black artist establishes a black aesthetic, he will have no future at all. To accept the white aesthetic is to accept and validate a society that will not allow him to live. The black artist must create a new form and new values, sing a new song, or purify the old ones. And that's what artists began to do. It is important for artists to use their platform, or to continue to use their platform, to speak out about social injustices and all